Hey guys, this is Rick coming to you from sunny Key West, Florida, day of the eclipse. We all survived. We don't know yet because maybe there's a pandemic on the way next, We don't remember that. It's just a little too risque, all this business going down. I don't know. Anyways, is that alright? Doesn't matter, I guess. I want to take you on a drawing expedition today. I was working on this the last couple of days. Shit, fire. Well, everything's kind of discombobulated because I'm trying to make a classroom. Alright? I've invested so much in the technical side of my school here. They don't take donations from students, parents. I should take it from them airplanes. Oh, it's probably that time of night. We'll probably get about 4 or 5 of them. But it's okay because this is a teaching episode that I'm going to draw with and talk to you at the same time. But what I wanted to get at is that I wanted to go into some more of that HOPI prophecy stuff. Because, they're making the news as, they're hoping to keep all their children from going to school that day or participating in any events like science that had to do with that, because they hold that very sacred. Now, I understand what they mean by that, but let me tell you, who am I to tell the elders that they just might be doing something wrong? Alright, who am I? I don't know really myself, but I thought that I might, share it with you what I find and what I hear when I hear these stories that these people tell. Like one of them was talking about this one, like a great bear. And it's been handed down. This one is a real live, verbal. And so I'm going to screw it all up because I'm just going to hit right down to the nail of it. He screwed it up a lot too. You could listen to him say there's obvious places where you were going to say something twice, It's all code. It's all the code. They're talking about there's a great sign, and the idea they were having a bow in their right hand. Damn it. Having a bow in their right hand, bow and archery, the idea of, it's the whole idea of going up, alright? And what's in the middle of the herd, the most important part, and he said it's because it was the albino buffalo. This was the most important part. This was what, this is going to feed you through winter, and it's a good sign. And, what happens is there's this giant stampede, and he spies and he says, look, there's one right in the middle there, all right? And he went on to say, well, the reason why it's there is because they're albino, they can't see any well, so the herd puts them in the middle so that nothing happens to them, they're protected. And so, the whole sequence is when they're chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing each other, and there's 2 of them going. There's a pale horse running, and then there's another one. I think it's a white horse. Oh, I can't tell you. I think it's a red horse. Red in their mind is about the lower motions. The lower is the skin part, the atoms. So they actually use earth as our skin. And they also use yellow as the dress that you would wear once you made it over to the other side. Instead of gold, it's the sunshine, but they call it a dress. It's the yellow dress. It's the same as Chinese. This is in the yin and the yang businesses. But let's not get off track. I'm just showing you how it all kind of mixes together. It came down to the whole herd disappeared, and it was just this white animal and the 2 guys on the horse, and they called for a halt. Stop. This is where they stop. And the guy says they always pause the story here. This is where they pause. This is the 6th chakra, because they worked and worked and worked and worked, And now what he had to do was take aim and pull his bow back and get ready to give it up. You know, to pop that, had to go between the ribs and had to hit it right in the center. And then there was this wonderful, there was this killing of this animal, and that it gave its life for this, for this community as it was to be restored. It was absolutely the exact same story, but he butchered it up a lot. And he looked at it as being real. He said it was a great-great-grandfather of his that did this. So that's wrong. That's wrong. This is an old story. It's coded. It could have came from a great-great-great-grandfather, but his great-great-grandfather would have known what it meant, and he doesn't. And he's going to tell this story. He's got his kid is now this new running bear guy. And sad. It's sad. That's what happens when you get religion. Religion has a way of killing the soul. That's what it's all about. So anyways, it was a beautiful story, and they turned it into, you know, having good aim, and you know, and that the buffalo was a sign. The white buffalo was your pineal gland, and it is a good sign. You know, and have the needle, the eye of the needle, and him, you know, the hand, the bow, the right hand. But listen, I want to do another one for you, and it is up to, you know, they are the people that tell the stories. They have them written down. There's this one rock that they have. It's called the Prophecy Rock, and I'm not doing this to make them and to shame them in any way. I just think that religion came in and screwed a lot of things up, you know, and a lot of people are left to grasp this on their own. And I just happen to understand that when there's a prophecy that's talking about the end of times, I'm going to look at that a little more closer. And all of these stories are about these end time stories, and you can see how they are all meant to find this place within you. All of these stories are about finding that inside place inside of you to go in and clean up. And this is the enlightened ones, you know. All these people have feathers, or yeah, when this guy ended, when it was all done, he had feathers all up his right side of his heart, on his heart side, and it was just so beautiful, the beautiful story, but he doesn't know what it meant, you know. And they wonder why their people run around dead, you know. They're practicing things that doesn't work. The same way with the Jewish people. If they had followed the law the way the law is supposed to be done, they would all be closer to God, and they would be these people, you know, that are leading the pack. But I tell you, it's the Buddhists that are actually doing it. But now they're turning Buddhism into a religion, you know. And if you have listened to the Tao yet, it's so clear to me how all these texts sound the same. They say that people, even though they say it back, and this would have been back then. This is before it was ever translated. They don't understand the Tao. They don't understand what it means. And so all the stories say, you know, unless you can get back to your old ways. That doesn't mean like from the 1920s. Do you guys remember anything good about I wasn't alive, but I think it was good for a few people. You know, white man ran crazy. You got to understand why everybody hates the white man right now. They've always hated the white man. They always have in some way. And it's like we're having to pay for it now, you know. But don't fall for any of that stuff. So today's a drawing lesson, so hang on. All right, it's almost done. And we're going to do the Prophecy Rock. All right. And the way they have it right now is there's a drawing it's a drawing of a person by itself. He's holding on to a long stick. He's got a bow in his right hand. The stick goes up in there, and they call the reed. The reed is a reed that goes from heaven to earth. So it's the straw. And in the Old Testament, you know, the straw. It's, you know, it's a metaphor for our backbone, for, you know, what sustains us, you know, what brings us this life, you know. And it's used as a staff because you hold on to it, and it's the most important thing. And so this goes up and runs into a box, a square. there's a couple of half circles down below, 2 lines jetting off from that, and they're saying that there's 2 paths that you can take. And they were talking about one of the paths as being about materialism, and that if you go this path, you're going to go this way and get lost, and the world will fall apart. They call it white man's way. When it comes down to the lower one, this is the one that has a couple of little circles that are in halves, and then there's a line dividing everything, and then another little circle that's half a circle, and some kind of something's growing like plant or something, which is new growth. And there's this old man, with a cane, and he's like, and this is what they call him. They call him the old man. And in my recent listenings of things, the old man is that after 7th chakra, that when you're restored, you can still be that old man, but you live wherever. The old man is respected in these things. They're the tribal elders, they got the wisdom, they wear the little feather, Chiefs wear many feathers, so just like all of that is just another idea of being enlightened. Alright, maybe they did drugs, maybe they did things to flip over into these areas, but you don't need to. Alright, so here, before I go crazy, I'm going to show you what I get out of this story. Alright, hold on. Hold your breath. That's from I watch Aqua Chigger. You ever watch him? He does, he goes around finding things in the dirt, metal detecting and all. That's an interesting way of putting it too, because the ibis in our Bible, in the Egypt's times, this was a very holy thing, this ibis. And what it was where it gets its food, it has to dig for it. It's got that long, skinny bill, so it has to go into the dark, into the unknown, into the darkness in order to get its sustenance. And so it goes along line with what we were talking about. Alright, so let me get myself kind of set up so I'm not interfering, and we'll make this one fun event. Alright, so in reality I'm going to draw a little piece up here. This is a huge rock, and it looks about like this. And when a man is talking on it, he is standing. There's a lot of rocks and stuff, but a man would stand about this high, about that high, and the drawing goes about from here, and it goes up here, and it makes this line, and the old man line goes all the way around. It would continue, and it would continue. It was actually etched into the work, but it's a big rock. All right, and put into it, and we're going to build it down here. There is a man. And he kind of has a shape like this. Alright. Let me see how we have him. They have him sitting down. Alright. So he has this funny little body. And he has this like this. Alright. And those are arms. We have a bow over here. Alright. That's on the right hand. This leg actually is a bent leg, so you'll see that this is really like a leg and it's bent. And he has a little feather sticking out of his head. Alright. They also went as far as to make it into a human being, to put an eyeball and stuff in it. Alright. There was also some marks down here that had little, there was like a 3. There was 3. 1, 2, 3 mark. In some places they called this here a arrow. Sometimes that is what they called that, was an arrow. But those are the different translations. Remember, they've done a lot. So he's sitting there on the ground, and he's holding on to a long pole, which they called a reed. And they were using this as a timeline. Say that this is, where he's holding on to it, this was back then, and it just, if you add this up, this means all these different eons and years, and I don't believe in any of that yet. Alright, not yet. But anyways, it opens up onto a small square, about like so. Alright, you can see it's 4-sided, So it actually, I'm going to say that this is the person, the human being. It's actually fixed to where it has another, it has a line like this, and it has a bottom line coming off of it like so. Alright? And they're kind of rudely carved in there. So down here, let's split this real fast. There's a little line that's really dark and it's deep, and there's two circles that run the halfway point. Then we have above this, we have three people, and they are all on, they all look the same. Well, let's just put another one on this side just for the hell of it while we're waiting. And they have bodies. They were using, because there's two lines, they were saying that this was two-hearted people. Alright? That's what they were saying, that they were two-hearted people. And over here, are you guys still there? We'll just put another one in here just for the hell of it, just to show that this is the way it's being depicted. There is another head on here, little circles. Alright? Now, that last one right there, I can't answer that. That last one right there is being depicted as another circle, as if it was another head. That's what they've done to it. But I've looked and looked, and I went and seen all the different ways of doing it. And here's what it does. There's a circle on this head, on one of those. They're connected. And there is this upside down pyramid, a triangle on this side, and it has a feather in it. Alright, so let's see here. In order to do this correctly, they have arms, and it shows that they're all connected. Alright, even this last one. Alright. As soon as this finishes, oh shit. Sorry about that, you guys. God damn, huh? Think if I was enlightened, I wouldn't have troubles like this, huh? Shit, I don't know much about being enlightened. You learn something, and then you share it. That's, you know, just being a teacher. I guess it's all it is. All teachers are enlightened. It goes like this. This is what they said is a stair. Alright? But I'm going to tell you that I see them as mountains. There's 4 of them. And it stops. Alright? Now, on this line down here, let's just continue it. Let's just say that that's that one that goes all the way around the rock. So it just keeps on and on and on. Alright? And we have a half of around here. It has this funny little thing like this that's meant for growth. Alright? And then there's this old man, and he kind of looks like this guy because he has this, that's why I kind of messed this up. He has this body that looks like this, and one leg is going like that, and the other one has a bend in it, so they match. It has an arm, and it has the bow in it. But actually, let me do this correct. It goes like this. It has an arm, but this bow comes down like that. It's a curved thing. And on this other side is a cane. There's a little circle down here. And there's a cross. And I don't, no, I don't see it. Oh yeah, somewhere around in here is another little circle. Alright, aside from that half circle, unless that's what it is, that's what we're seeing, I think here. So generally there's a little circle in here. And what this actually is supposed to be, this is the purifier. That's the purification. Look where it's at. It's on the other side of the line. All right. So I had a little drawing here, so I'm going to show you my drawing, because I don't have the real one, and you can look it up. Can you see any of it? All right. So that's the make of it. Pretty much the make of it all. This is what is actually on the rock. All right. They have other things like this. There's a symbol that has a circle that is obvious, a sun, and it has a swastika in the middle. All right. And they said that is the old man sign. And they also say this is Christianity. Now this is the other side of us. I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to get my paintbrush into some water so I don't ruin it. All right. Oh hell, I'll maybe use it. I'll use it as a pointer. All right. So here's what I think it is. This is the prophecy rock. And what it says is, it was saying, I can't see where they said if you were material, this goes one way, and if you're this way, it goes another, spiritual path. What it's really saying is, there is two of us. We are in duality. This is the lower part here. These are those two worlds. Here's our four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at, we are going, when we're in meditation phase and we're shooting the bow, the arrow. Remember, everything about going up is about the arrow. This is Capricorn. Climbing, not only does it have a climb for climbing a mountain, it's loaded with it's for hunting, it's for shooting, it's for, it's the whole idea behind all of this. It's just one of the symbols, which is cool as hell. All right, so anyways, he's got a feather in his hat, so you know that he's gone this way before, so he's connected. There's the staff that he's holding on to. I would say that this would be representing, the separation of the two when you are going. Maybe there's like, maybe this would be like a north, east, south, and west. But in reality, what you get is you're going from east, and you're probably going through the three, because the three are on one side. Remember, you want to put three together so that you can get the other thing. So this would be you're going from the west. West is your skin, right? Your intellect, So he'd probably be a black man. That's what that would be, a black color there. This one could probably be a red one. One of these has to do with our emotions. So let's just give this one the south for skin, and we'll give this one the north for our what do you call that, our emotions. And when you get the three together, right, here's that line, you cross over, now you got two. Do you understand this idea now? There's two. He said this is one heart. This is people working with one heart. These are people with two hearts. This is really one heart, your duality system that you have, because this is duality down here. That's your two worlds. And this is a delta symbol. Delta's ready when you are. If you notice the direction that it is, it's a downward facing delta. So we're getting information. It's coming down. We're getting our blessing, our from ether. This is when we made it over to this side. Look, it even has a feather on it. All right. What we've done, what we are down here, and what would be cool to see is the up delta, because this is the request, this is the prayer, this is the offering, is the up delta. And remember, you're David. This is the Star of David. This wasn't a real guy, and there wasn't a real king. That's you. When you ask for it, you get it. All right. And look, and you're on the mountainous side. This is the east. So, look, you are on your way to the east. I hope that this makes some kind of sense to you guys, because it makes so much sense to me, and I want you to tell me if I'm nuts, all right? Don't sit there quiet. Just tell me and let me run around nuts all the time. Now let me show you the bottom line. This, I'm almost sure, is the moon. Alright? I really think so. And the cross is the crossing. There's always the crossing. They said that this was Jesus and all that business, and they really thought it was real. So I can't believe that. So this is still in question for me to find out what all that is. Alright? But this bus-looking thing has these two worlds. You know that this is the two of us. When you join together up here, this is the destruction of what was before and the new you. This is the new, that's either a new rising sun, all right, or it's sunset when things go dark. But I think it's new. It's a rising sun. That's rising because you're new. When we go under, it's all about the sunrise. They say in the morning he rose early. You know, this is the idea of rising. So this is also is like Virgo. You know, Virgo. It's not Virgo. It would be Libra. Libra is the balance. Remember, and Libra is also sunrise or it's sunset. So whichever this is, but that's a symbol there. This is new growth. And you just grow old and happily ever after is what I see, you know. I don't see that this is going without this. I see that this is all one, and it's all coming from Him. It is not talking about dying. It's not talking about end of times. It's not killing anyone. It's not putting anyone in any kind of purgatory for not following the law. None of that shit. Alright? So, did you learn something from that? I think that was really cool. Alright. Now I can straighten up a little bit. This wound up being a long video, and I apologize for that. But, I did a little bit of time on that, and I think that was pretty neat. So you tell me what you think, you know, and make it far. I want the HOPIs to see this. I want them to get back on track. They got to remember, even their stories say, we need to remember their old ways. Well, it doesn't mean back in the horse and buggy days, you know, when everybody was killing everyone and stuff like that and fighting over land. It wasn't in the good old days of the white man, none of that neither. It's talking about in the days, it's in the days of Noah, all right? You know, and people, when they don't understand that saying, as in the day of Noah, so will be the coming of man. That says so much. And I just want to tell you that what it means is, if you want to take Noah as being real, as in the day of Noah, he didn't tell these people what was going on. He was the only one, he and his family were the only ones that were allowed to go. So as in the day of Noah, so will be the Son of Man. So when the coming of the Son of Man, he's only coming to take you and your family away. You know, screw everybody else. Do you understand that? You know, because some of these things you just read right off the top of the head, because it means it's kind of mean, it's kind of ornery. So, you know, you're just gonna be sitting around while, you know, I don't know, it's not real. The idea is that it's only going to be one family going at a time. I love you guys. Tell me if you think that's nuts. Because, you know, you can get too much of yourself. And that's one of the things I don't want. And it takes a community to raise, you know, a child. I love you.